The 2026 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup is proudly brought to you by SunBet, Bridgestone, the tyre of choice, VAG Automotive Centre Centurion, EBC Brakes, GoZone Water, Seal Pro, and Pump Elec CC. Welcome to Cape Town for round 1, race 2 of the 2026 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup, which takes place around the Killarney International Raceway and once again forms part of the Extreme Festival. The spectators were buzzing all for one, which was unfortunately Clinton Seller once again on the sideline. But who would take victory and who would take a nap? Well-rested nap for some of the riders, as we hear from Gerard Frey about his first race.
So we're here with Gerard Frey. Gerard, a disappointing race one there, round 1 of the 2026 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. You pulled in late but early at the same time, so pulling in with about a lap left to go. Tell us, how's that race for you? How's your qualifying? And then a little bit of an issue there now. What was the issue?
Look, I was happy with the bike all around the whole weekend. Not the times that I'm used to, but it's back now, back racing after a long time. I'm having a massive joy, seeing all my pals back again. And we started the race off good. I was very happy with everything. And then, won't believe it was 3 or 2 laps left. And the bike just started, I had the massive vibration on the rear. And I wasn't sure. Trevor Westman also had a vibration and he dropped the bike. So obviously it was in my head. Maybe just rather check what it is. And I couldn't see, was it a flat tire? It felt like a flat, but it wasn't. I wasn't sure what it was. So rather played safe. And I came in and it was 1 lap to go. If I knew it was only something on the rear wheel, I could have finished it, but rather played safe.
Exactly.
And I had it still. Bike is in one piece. We're ready to rock and roll for race 2.
There we go. Well, all the best for race 2, and don't pull in.
100%. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
One man to look out for in race 2 is the number 42 of Jason Lamb. On his tyre mod ZX10R, he looked like he meant business in race 1. A big thumbs up there from Jason, but the pressure is definitely on. Han McMahon looks to have got those issues sorted out, and he'll be a lot stronger for race 2. Speaking about stronger, Aubrey Murray also looking to improve on his ZX10R. Nice to see Johan Leroux walking around the pits. Can't wait to have him back. Time to warm those motorbikes up and get a little bit of hydration. And that, this year, is all thanks to GoZone Water. Not only hydrating the riders, but their families as well. Yes, Keith, we love it. A great debut round so far for Alfie Swanepoel, where Reggie Seal will be looking for a little bit more come race 2. James Barson looking good so far this weekend, but can anyone catch Damien Perifacati out front?
What's up? ZX10 Masters Cup.
From one of the quickest riders around the Killarney International Raceway, thanks Tristan Pienaar. The Siemens bike looking very good and trim and proper this year for Henk Kruger. Lubabolo and Sana hoping to have those issues sorted for race 2. Damien Perifacati, a little bit of a hop in the dance. Yeah. He's looking in high spirits, looking for a double victory in round 1 of the 2026 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. A little bit of an issue here before race 2, slightly delayed, and it will be 10 laps, not 9, Ian, as a car had dropped oil in the previous round or previous race, and they sent out Trevor Westman to have a look to see if it was safe for the bikes to go out. And yes, don't read that. Good and positive vibes as always in the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup pits. The track was deemed safe and the riders were sent out for race 2 of round 1 of the 2026 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. All fun and games out front with Damien Perifacati and Ryan van der Kerk. Second on the grid, Jason Lamb. Third was Han McMahon. Adi van Dalen in 4th. James Barson, a big thumbs up. Keith Agliotti as well, looking good. The 53 of Lubabolo and Sana looking for a better race 2. The 166 of Reggie Seal. The number 60 of Trevor Westman. 37 Byron Rothqual and the 82 of Henk Kruger. Some beautiful ladies as always in the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. As the riders take to the grid, it was Damien Perifacati on pole position ahead of Jason Lamb, Han McMahon, Adi van Dalen, James Barson, Keith Agliotti, Lubabolo and Sana in 7th ahead of Reggie Seal and Trevor Westman in 9th position. Byron Rothqual will be starting from 10th place ahead of Henk Kruger, Gerard Frey. 13th was Ian Harwood ahead of Robert Ferreira, Dirk Stolz in 15th place, ahead of Alfie Swanepoel, and rounding out the grid, Aubrey Murray in 17th place. It was time for lights out though for race 1, and it was a great start from the number 42 of Jason Lamb. He took the whole shot ahead of Damien Pervocati and AD van Darnen, looking for a move on the inside there. A great start from AD. He slots into 3rd place ahead of the 4 of Han McMahon. Behind, Keith Agliotti forced out wide by James Parson. Luba Balansana as well with a great start as Trevor Westman looks at going around the outside in turn 1 of Lubas, looking to make up ground after that 9th place qualifying due to changing motorcycles. As we take a ride on board with James Parson, the Class C man. This is on board with the Insta Go 3S for a rider's bird's eye view, quite literally. You're riding with James in his helmet. A great start as you see the riders bank over, leading to turn 1, get hard on the gas, try and get that drive to make moves into turn 2. And that's exactly what the 88 of Damien Pervocati was looking at doing to Jason heading into turn 1. But no, Jason holding firm. A great start from the 48 of Aubrey Murray. He was just ahead of Gerard Frey there, so a fantastic start. As we go back to the front, it was still Jason Lamb, now under immense pressure from Damien Pervocati. AD van Darnen looking good and settled there, running in 3rd position ahead of the number 4 of Han McMahon. As the riders made their way into the final corner at Killarney, it was still Jason Lamb ahead of Damien Pervocati, but the battle for 3rd now was becoming quite exciting, and it was a multi-rider lineup, as it was pretty much for the whole of race 1. Trevor Westman fainting on the inside there, looking for a move. He would want to get past AD van Darlen and James Parson ahead of him and try and chase down Han McMahon, who was still in the 3rd spot. The number 82 of Henk Kruger on the Siemens bike, he ran a little bit wide there in turn 1, but brought it back, and he was looking at getting the drive on Reggie Steele. Luba Balansana on the 53, a much better outing so far after that disappointing crash in race 1. But we know Lubas has the pace in Cape Town. It's a track he knows well. He's obviously a local man, and it's a track he's got a lot of mileage on. Heading down the back straight into the final corner, Damien Pervocati around the outside. What a brave move there on Jason Lamb to take back the lead. Right behind them, though, it was a fantastic outing so far from Han McMahon. He looks to have got those fuel pump issues sorted that plagued him in race 1 and stopped him from challenging for those overall podium positions. Heading through turn 1, Pervocati, Lamb, McMahon, AD van Darlen having a good ride there as well, and Trevor Westman also looking at moving into those overall podium places out of turn 1. And you can see all the black lines, the darkies getting left by all of these riders as they get hard on the gas and put those Bridgestone tires under immense pressure. And a bit of a move once again. Trevor Westman getting that slightly wrong there. A little bit of a wrong line as he looked for a move on Han McMahon. James Parson also having a great ride. AD van Darlen falling back as well. It looks like James Parson getting through on the number 469 VAG Automotive Centre Centurion man as the riders made their way down the back straight. It was Keith Agliotti as well in the background there on the blue bike. You can see he was looking at closing down on the riders as well. Trevor Westman on Han McMahon. Pretty much an identical move that was done the lap before for the lead though. And now it was Trevor Westman in 3rd place. He was looking at getting his claws into the 2 riders ahead of him. Another lap done and dusted. Another lap ticked off the sheets. And it was still Damien Pervocati and Jason Lamb out front. And the crowd were absolutely loving it. A fantastic crowd as always here in Cape Town for round 1 of the 2026 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. Damien Pervocati, your current championship leader. And funnily enough, a great stat. This is the first time a rider other than Clinton Seller has led the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup Championship for the last 2 years, other than Clinton Seller for around the last 2 years. So a fantastic stat there. And if this race was anything to go by, we're definitely in for a treat for the rest of the 2026 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup Championship. Damien Pervocati once again looking for a move around the outside. He got that done. You can see their Lamb wasn't having it. He let go of the brakes, but so did Damien. As the riders completed yet another lap, it was still Damien Pervocati out front on the Amalgam Welding Shop and the left racing ZX10R. He was fending off the hard intentions of the Time Out East London Buffalo Service Centre ZX10R, that is of course of the veteran rider Jason Lamb. Behind them it was Trevor Westman on the Project 60 SA Team Wayward ZX10R, a completely new bike, remember, because unfortunately he wrote off his previous bike, his preferred motorbike, in the Friday qualifying sessions, one of the final qualifying sessions on Friday. So the team did a great job, and if he can walk away with 2 podiums this weekend, I think that's a job well done. The number 166 of Reggie Seal on the Ajax Consulting Services Ace Racing Bikewise ZX10R. He was getting chased down by the 37 bike of Byron Rothwell on his Magic Full Warehouse Alco Electrical Alvetis ZX10R. As you can hear the bike screaming down that back straight, Byron looking to get past and through on Reggie Seal. Byron having a much better outing here, showing the pace we know he's capable of. And it's good seeing him mixing it up in the top 10 positions. Speaking about mixing it up, and Adi van Dalen and James Barson once again continuing their brawl which they had in the first race, the 67 of James Barson. Now obviously these riders are both in completely different categories, but that just goes to show that once you're out on the track, it doesn't matter whether you're in class A, B or C. You're going to race your heart out and you are going to go for that position and that rider ahead of you, no matter who he is and no matter what class he rides in. The battle for fourth was still a three-way fight. Heinrich Mahn, the number 4, in fourth place on the X-Pro Security Solutions K9 Law Enforcement Penaltech ZX10R. He had his work cut out for him, but he was starting to stretch a little bit of a gap as the 2 riders behind, as you can see, how close do you like it? Getting your nose chopped off. Adi van Dalen looking for a move on the inside of James Barson, and he got his nose chopped off as the riders made their way onto the front straight. Once again, it was Adi van Dalen on the VAG Automotive Centre Centurion ZX10R, once again looking for a move on the inside into turn 1, this time making it stick as clean as you would like, which obviously you've come to expect from Adi van Dalen, as we take a ride on board with James Barson heading into turn 1. And there we have it, Adi van Dalen up the inside, elbows out, elbows down, heading out up, bit of a moment, AD, a little bit of a house out there coming out as he looked to get on the gas, a move on the inside possibly, and Adi van Dalen down, the number 469 of Adi van Dalen, a huge mistake as that he lost the front end, 67 degrees lean angle and more there for Adi van Dalen. Luckily he was alright, headed into the ambulance. The race was red flagged, and the race, when it did get underway, it was once again Damien Provocati and Jason Lamb in second. Trevor Westman, a much better start this time around, into third place as the rest of the field made their way around. You can see Reggie Seal, a much better start, and this was now pretty much a sprint race. So James Barson, not a fantastic start there in the restart from James Barson. Henk Kruger on the Siemens bike, and there you've got Agliotti, Lubabal and Sana, James Barson. So Lubas ahead of James Barson, a fantastic start there. And towards the end of the field there, you've got the number 24, the TRP machine of Ian Harwood, having a great ride, and he was ahead of the new rider, and that is of course Robert Ferreira, who was rounding out the field, but having a fantastic outing indeed. Out front, and man oh man, you've got to feel for Damien Provocati. Before that red flag, he was actually starting to pull out a little bit of an advantage on Jason Lamb, but the 5-10 minutes or so in between after that red flag, it looks like Jason Lamb had a little bit of a sit down, calmed down and regrouped, and is putting everything into it once again. Damien Provocati, Jason Lamb on the 42 bike, Trevor Westman throwing his bike in the mix this time around, Heinrich Mahn there in fourth, as he was just before the restart, and James Barson looking at some moves there on the, looked like around the outside and up the inside of Keith Agliotti. So yes, James Barson making up, or trying to make up for last time after that disappointing start in the restart. And you've got to love his slow-mos. There he is, James Barson, Keith Agliotti, Lubabal and Sana, Reggie Seal, Byron Rothwell ahead of Henk Kruger. These 2 riders glued together pretty much in the first part of the race, the second part of the race, everything in between. Dirk Stolz as well, having a fantastic outing. Great to see Dirk out there. And this beautiful black ZX10R as well. He'll be getting quicker and quicker as the season progresses, as the riders made their way down the main straight to complete yet another lap. Now in the closing stages of race 2, part 2, it was still Jason Lamb out front ahead of Damien Pivocati in second, Trevor Westman in third place, and Han McMahon was having a great but lonely ride now in fourth. As you can see, Jason Lamb ahead of Damien Pivocati. Look how bumpy the track is there. These riders doing their utmost to try and control these close to 200 horsepower thoroughbred race machines. And there was Gerard Frey ahead of the 48 of Aubrey Marais, and they were having a nice battle out on the track. Great to see Aubrey Marais getting back to grips with riding a ZX10R after quite some time off. Onto the back straight here at Killarney, and it was still Jason Lamb out front. He favours the inside line here, heading into the final corner. He sort of forces Damien Pivocati to go around the outside, which is exactly what was happening. Look at Jason Lamb right on the inside there, and Damien Pivocati using that to his advantage, sweeping around the outside to take the lead back ahead of Jason Lamb and Trevor Westman in third place. As the riders headed onto their final lap, it was now all or nothing. Jason Lamb was all in. Damien Pivocati had his work cut out for him now to keep the veteran rider behind him. The 31, the TNB Global Ridgeway Race Bar ZX10R of Keith Agliotti, having a great ride in sixth place. Just behind him was Luba Balansana on the Albi Auto ZX10R, Henk Kruger, and there's the number 3. That is, of course, Alfie Swanepoel, having a great ride in his first round. As the front trio of riders made their way now in the closing stages of race 2, part 2, heading onto the back straight for the final time of asking. It was Damien Pivocati. He had looked now to build a little bit of an advantage on Jason Lamb, but that wouldn't matter, as Jason Lamb came from a mile back on the inside of Damien Pivocati, who left the door open, heading to the line now. Damien Pivocati trying to get the run on Jason Lamb, and have a look at the Jason Lamb on the wall, almost headbutting that poor spectator. As he made his way to the line, he took victory just over Damien Pivocati in second, and third place was, of course, Trevor Westman further back. And the battle for 11th between Gerard Frey, Aubrey Marais, and Alfie Swanepoel was heating up nicely over the line. These riders were glued together the whole race, but it was, in fact, Gerard Frey who took 11th ahead of Aubrey Marais and Alfie Swanepoel. As the riders took a well-deserved cool-down lap, it was handshakes all around, thumbs up all around, and man oh man, do we also need a cool-down lap after that intense battle. The number 42 of Jason Lamb taking it to Damien Pivocati and actually taking victory overall in the aggregate for race 2 by just 0.006 of a second. That is, if not the closest, one of the closest finishes ever in the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. A well-deserved round of applause for all of the riders who put on quite a show for race 2 of round 2. And Clinton Seller asking Trevor Westman there, how close was Jason actually to that wall? And the answer was very close. A fantastic outing and an ecstatic veteran rider. Yes, quite rightly so, getting the admiration of Clinton Seller and Trevor Westman. Damien Pivocati gave it everything, but unfortunately it just wasn't quite enough to beat Jason Lamb, as we hear from James Parson on his incredible round 1.
James Parson, round 1 done and dusted here at Killarney for round 1, obviously, of the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. A hard-fought day. It's been so hot here. You're sweating like a piece of cheese that's been left on a windowsill in a hot summer's day, as is everyone. But hard fought. You had the pace this weekend. You look really, really good. Back to the James that we all know and love.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really glad on the Saturday I could pull it out of the hat and get back to my old pace. I can now build on this and go catch those front guys. And a really, really good dance with AD. Unfortunately, he crashed in front of me. So big up to AD, big up to Keith, Han, everybody we raced with. We all had a good hard race.
Well, there we go. Well done. Go have yourself a nice ice cold Go Zone water now, and maybe something a little bit stronger later on.
100%. Thank you so much.
Well done.
As we take a look at the results for race 2, it was Jason Lamb on the aggregate who took victory ahead of Damien Pirivacati in second, Trevor Westman in third, Han McMahon in fourth place ahead of James Parson in fifth place, Keith Agliotti in sixth, Luba Bala Nsana in seventh ahead of Reggie Seal in eighth, and Byron Rothquell in a great ninth place. Henk Kruger rounding out the top 10 in 10th ahead of Gerard Frey, Aubrey Murray in 12th, Alfie Swanepoel in 13th, ahead of Dirk Stolz in 14th, Ian Harwood in 15th, Robert Ferreira in 16th place, and Adi van Dalen rounding out the field after that unfortunate crash which brought out the red flag in the first part of race 2. Prize giving is always a glamorous affair, and it was Jason Lamb taking top honours in Class C ahead of James Parson in second and Reggie Seal a fantastic third place. Class B was all about Damien Pirivacati, second place, Henk Kruger, fantastic outing, and Byron Rothquell in third, while Class A was Trevor Westman taking the victory ahead of Han McMahon in second and Keith Agliotti in third.
Jason Lamb here for round 1 of the 2026 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup at Killarney. Pretty much a track you know very, very well. You love this track. You always fast at this track. And you proved that today. Absolutely, you were on it. You were really, really on it. I mean, you were on the wall as well, pretty much in that second race. After the restart, a fantastic outing. You weren't giving Damien that gap. He pulled a little bit of a gap in the before the restart, but you came back stronger there, and you took it on the line and in the aggregate in race 2, second overall for the day, and first in Class C. How was it for you?
No, it was fantastic. Racing with Damien has been a pleasure. He's hard, but he's clean, and it was as you saw, it was a great race. No one gave an inch. I found a new line along the wall there, which worked quite well, and we just got it. But it was a fantastic day.
Well, there we go. Look, I mean, we went out with Damien last night. We went out to dinner with Damien, and we said to him, listen, don't underestimate that Jason. And he was sort of brushing it off a little bit, no, I've got that old toppy. And you proved him wrong today. I think you opened up his eyes. Absolutely amazing. And, fantastic outing for you.
Well, Shona, there you have it. Proof of what Carling Black Label can do for you. I had a few last night.
There we go. And then you had a lot of ozone water today as well, which helped you along as
Yes,
well.
we did.
That's important. But once again, a huge thank you to our sponsors who make this all possible. That is, of course, sunbet.co.za, Bridgestone, EBC brake pads, VAG Automotive Centre Centurion. We've got ozone water on board as well, which is great for this year, keeping us hydrated because we need it, especially watching you. And then Pro Seal as well, which is fantastic, and then Pumperlex. So a huge well done, and hopefully we see more of that action come around too.
No, I really hope so. I also would just like to thank two very, very special people to me. My good friend Pierre Leroux from Buffalo Service Center, who goes with me to every round. He's my mechanic. It's unbelievable. And my good friend Dean Shaw from Tyre Marty's London. Without his support, I could not do this. So thank you both very, very much.
100%. See you at round 2.
So we'll see you there.
That's it for round 1. See you at round 2 at Red Star Raceway. The 2026 SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup is proudly brought to you by SunBet, Bridgestone, the tyre of choice, VAG Automotive Centre Centurion, EBC Brakes, GoZone Water, Seal Pro, and Pump Elec CC.